Yeah, one, we need to give people time to find us, and two, we gotta show off Kitty.
Before Kitty leaves.
Oh yeah, and she wants to leave. She wants to leave. She really wants to go, don't you, kitty cat? You just want to bolt off, don't you? You just want to bolt off, don't you?
There we are.
She really does. We are? We're there?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I see Kitty. Kitty made it at the very beginning, but I think I'm the only one here.
I just assumed it was going to screw up, so, you know. Good job scratching up that thing, kitty cat. Okay.
And Evan's here. Wait, but did anyone actually get to see Kitty for the first, 10 seconds?
204. There we are! Ah! We're on TV! Okay.
You're so excited. Okay, but here's the thing. I just realized.
Yep.
I just, in this very second, realized that I left my super duper awesome keep all my notes in one place planner at home.
Uh-huh.
And somebody's birthday is on October 27th, and I think it's Logan. Is that correct?
And
Logan's here, so
wait.
I'm torn between thinking it was Logan and Yuan, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
It's Yuan. Okay. So I'm going to take this second to say happy birthday, Yuan, a little bit earlier because, it's in 3 days, I can count 4 days.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because, you weren't going to try to pull it's an October 27th thing on me, were you?
Today is not October 27th,
okay.
But we're going to our next live stream is after the 27th. And so, that would have been horrible to miss the birthday.
You're right. That would have been horrible.
And so I wanted to make sure, wish happy birthday before it happened. So happy birthday.
All right. Hooray. What are you doing?
Okay, so now I feel better.
Okay, good. By the way, have you been enjoying using the internet?
For all of 20 minutes since I've been in my campus office? Yes, I have. It's lovely.
I'm glad to hear it.
When things work.
Yeah. It's cooling down here in Southern California, so we're in the mid-70s. But looking at the forecast, I believe we're going to be into the 80s again next week.
Okay.
That's
unfortunate.
So that's weather. Jesse, what do you got for us on sports?
In sports, I hear that the Dodgers had an amazing week and that they are going to the World Series.
Not the most up to date. Not the most up to date.
Never mind. At one point, the Dodgers had a good week. Whatever. I'm behind.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all good. Internet has died in my area.
Hang on. We've only got Megan for 30 minutes, so we need to make these 30 good minutes.
We do.
And then we'll goof off afterwards because Megan is the only one that counts. Don't tell anybody, especially not Johan. It's his birthday, but it's true.
I do want to, though, because I think last time I saw the IPA, it looked like it was Yuan instead of Johan, and I'm very curious to know if I have the vowel correct.
Oh.
However, I'll wait for that response whilst giving a... Well, that doesn't help me.
So that's how you pronounce it. There you go.
Oh, I've been saying it totally wrong. But... In the meantime, while I wait for that, I have some poll results.
Okay. Let's go to where that was.
Do you remember what we were voting on?
Yes. Let us go to where that was.
Because we were voting on some sound changes.
Wait, not that. No, the purple. Here we go.
It's more of a U, but with extra rounding because Swedish. Nice.
Oh, so it's just Johan.
So.
Yes.
Okay. We have the purple pulled up.
Yeah.
And the one that lost was no change, just total loss. there were some votes, but not very many.
Okay.
So people were like, let's bring on some changes.
Got
and
it.
I appreciate that. Then there was almost a tie for second and third place. So really the voicing option, whether it was just voicing or fortition plus voicing, both of those ended up losing, but they did get a lot of love. But not quite as much love as the fortition without voicing, and that is our winner of the poll. And so, bless you.
I forgot to dab.
And so, for instance, insan will be what the Inchwa SAM will end up being.
Okay. Okay. So, yuan.
Yeah, no
you
H.
were right.
No H.
No H. You know, it's got an H in there.
I literally wrote down the IPA that people were providing for me in my notebook, so that way I wouldn't forget, honestly. And so that way, if I mispronounce, it's just something that I'm still struggling with. So keep me working on it. But at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna write these down so I don't forget.
Okay, so I included 2 options for fortition, but I didn't have people decide between them because on thinking about it, this was too far. This was a step too far. So, insan it is with a tsa. And so, what that means is this had bearing on this one because if there was voicing, then there would have been voicing for this one too, but there isn't. So there will be a merger here. There we go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Dave, Evan asked if you got the pitch accent right, but what pitch accent?
I don't know.
A pitch accent?
It's talking about Swedish.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. I didn't miss anything then.
I don't know. Honestly, a lot of times it's I call it PA for PAS, pitch accent for pitch accent's sake. There is an overzealousness in saying, "Oh, this language is pitch accent," and I never believe it until I look at it for myself. Anyway.
Okay. So, moving on then. And by the way, Tanguy is very, very happy with this result. And so that's exciting.
Oh, Josh, yeah, that's not an old thing. In fact, I wrote about that in the Introduction to the Art of Language Invention. This was something that was raised in the early 2000s when I was just on the conlang list. Because there was a jocular stereotype on the conlang list that all conlangers were male, gay, bearded, left-handed, and Lithuanian, which of course, some of those things were not true, but there were a lot of homosexual conlangers or queer conlangers, that is across the spectrum, and many discussed. I mean, we always called it coming out when you told other people that you created languages, whether you're straight or not. But many have discussed similar, not just similar experiences, but that they also felt more comfortable coming out as gay to family members than they did as conlangers. It's a part of our unique and storied history. But anyway, so yeah, you're in good company.
Which, by the way, is really interesting because, and I know David and I had talked about this in, I believe, one of the podcasts, but we've also just talked about it at length in personal conversations. But that wasn't anything I really experienced, and I don't know if it's because I didn't get into really conlanging until later than the 90s, or if it's because I've just always been surrounded by people who look at me and go, "Oh yeah, it's just you, whatever." And so they never thought to make fun of me because it was just Jessie, and she's different, and that's okay.
Yeah, and then with me, because I was another one of those that came to language creation by myself. I just assumed that everything that I did was always the best, and that every idea I had was the best idea, and so naturally when I thought of this idea, everybody should just be blown away by it. And so You know.
You know, as we all are.
I lived a very different life for the first 20 or so years.
We're finding that out.
Okay. Okay, so then... Oh, yeah, and by the way, the initial survey was called, the Lunatic Survey that was done on the Conlang list. It was called the Lunatic Survey. It was done by Sally Caves, who created Teonoff. And the reason it was called that was because the only work that had been done on language creators up to that point, it was done in French, and it was translated. The title was translated into English as "Lunatic Lovers of Language," and really it was by Marina Yaguello, who I believe is still alive somewhere in France. And kind of just the entire thesis of her book was that people who create languages are literally crazy, and she just profiled a few of them and basically pointed them and said, "Look how crazy they are." So yeah, that was the authoritative work on conlanging circa like 2000.
Wow. Yeah, I joined at maybe also just because I didn't know to research for a long time, because I know we've discussed this too, where it just didn't occur to me that the internet was a thing. So like I didn't, don't laugh at me. I saw your face. And so like it didn't occur to me to try to find people who liked the things I liked, and so I was really sheltered from all of those things.
Yeah. Did you have America Online in your home? Just out of curiosity.
No. I didn't have any access to internet until I was a freshman in undergrad, and even then I only had access when I was at a computer lab because I didn't have my own computer.
Wow, really?
Really?
Like we're the same age. We went to college at the same time. You went to college without a computer?
Yes, and so I had to longhand write out all my papers because there were only so many available computers in a computer lab, and so when you went in, you had to be ready. So I had everything written out longhand, and I just typed it all in the lab.
Not even a typewriter?
Well, no, but that wouldn't have been much better. She can't go back and change.
It would have saved your hands. I mean, goodness. So, my introductory cognitive science class, our homeworks were each of them were like 5 to 10 pages. And it was one of those ones where they actually put a maximum page count on there, because it was just easy to write a lot about these topics. But writing those by hand, my goodness.
That was me. Oh. I think that's why it's still hard for me to do work without writing notes out by hand first. I still have to.
By the way, I just wanted to give a quick shout out on the off chance he's watching. He's not. But the fellow that I met in that cognitive science class at UC Berkeley, this would have been the year 2000, right? Or no. It was 2000. Yeah, it was the year that Bush was elected. Good Lord. The guy, he tried to turn me on to Hawkwind at that time, and unfortunately he chose the wrong song, which I still don't like, Quark, Strangeness and Charm. But like I listened to it and I was like, whatever, I don't get this. So like almost 17 years later, I started listening to Hawkwind again. Blew my mind, and I love this band. So thank you. You were right on. I just wasn't ready for it yet. I'm ready for it now. Oh, big time.
Well, you know what else we should be ready for? We said our first 30 minutes we weren't going to waste. We would.
And what are we doing? Unbelievable.
Talk about. So moving on. Okay. We have our poll results.
So let's write up some sound changes.
I'm trying to decide. The problem with being on my campus office, I have a much smaller screen, so I cannot have the YouTube video, the chat, and the Pages document open all at once. Well, I can have them open, but I can't look at them on the screen.
What about your telephone?
It's a small screen.
That's what I do.
Say that.
What about your telephone?
I could pull up the Pages document on there.
No, I meant pull up the live stream.
But then I would have to. I would have to watch my phone. Okay, we'll make this work.
Oh, the story that Dark Horse is talking about is very similar to, was it Aristotle? Oh, great. Not that. Not right now. I'm sorry. I thought that was done. But
What are you doing over there?
you know, Aristotle, is that the one about how all humans, they used to be like spheres, and then as a punishment, Zeus, lightning bolted them in half, and that's why you have to search for your other half now? Was that Aristotle?
So I don't know, but I also missed part of the middle because apparently even internet on campus is not cooperating today.
Okay. That is okay, because it's neither here nor there. Um, did I ever take a look at Matzes? I guess not. I don't even know what that is referring to. Oh, somebody, you know what? Somebody found there is an IPA character that has an L with a little loop that has the retroflex.
The voiceless?
It's voiceless,
retroflex.
and it has
Okay.
the retroflex hook. So it's somewhere in there. I just don't know where it is. Plato. Karis is saying Plato. That's probably right. Okay, valvularization. Fricatives. Okay, at the end of a word. This is probably where it's going to happen. Because we have changes. We're basically having lenition here with word final debuccalization, and a lenition here with word final devoicing. So if we don't have any other rule that this thing interacts with, this is where our fortition rule is going to happen, which is kind of a lenition. I mean, I know fortition is the opposite of lenition, but it's doing it because of the thing that comes before it. And it has to happen after nasal assimilation, otherwise you'd get really weird things. Actually, maybe it's going to be up there. I'm going to put it up there.
And I'm very slowly getting logged in under the right account.
Okay.
So that way I can view YouTube on my phone.
Weak fortition become stops. Ooh!
Bless you.
That time I
think you
dabbed.
now have sneezed more than I have on a live stream.
I know. I am dying, and I don't know why.
Is it because of all the smoke that has taken over your state?
No, we mostly pushed that to the Midwest.
Okay.
Let's just say it's a good thing you're not in Colorado.
How do I mute it?
Just turn the volume down on your
How do you
phone.
mute-
That's why it's on that's why it's on my checklist.
Oh my gosh. That was close.
Yeah. Okay. Frequicatives become stops after nasals. Wait. Stops or affricates after nasals.
Hopefully I'm seeing live chat instead of top chat, but I can't really tell because I obviously don't know what I'm doing.
So Evan, if you'd like to know more about the Sedan grammar, or basically the main thing that Sedan does, I actually did an entire presentation on it at LCC2. I still think it was very interesting, but it was also super convoluted. So it was like the language ended up having two parts to its verbs, like an auxiliary and a content part. And it was actually at the beginning and the end of the sentence, and it made sense. And it also evolved kind of an Austronesian thing, but the whole thing was evolved. It not just kind of made up whole cloth. And that was what the presentation was about for LCC2. Okay, consonant becomes minus continuant after a nasal. Okay, so this results in,
all sorts of fun.
Yes. So this becomes P, bilabial fricative becomes P. S becomes TS. Ch becomes K. And now we need to take a look at our IPA.
Okay.
Because I don't remember if there was other stuff that needs to be accounted for.
Oh, Josh, that was your picture of the beautiful sleeping giraffe on Twitter? So fun. Such a beautiful picture. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Okay. Good?
We can
Good.
continue.
Okay, good. Oh, there's no H in this language. I mean, there is now. That's right, because we had debuccalization, but there is no proto-H. Okay, so we're fine. We're fine.
Right.
And, okay, so then, and then the final thing is, so we'll put a and there. Did you have any type of video game system growing up, Jesse?
No.
Okay. So like, knowing who your father like is and was, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is basically like, I mean, you know, super famous, right? Because he played Major League Baseball. Just extraordinary. Like, is he a Luddite, if I'm saying that right?
Luddite?
Yes, if I'm using that term correctly. I've been very shaky with that term. But somebody who is not as cool with modern technology?
No, I mean, like, that's a good question. I mean, like, he now has internet, iPhone, iPad, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'll
not
bet
that he likes it.
You
He
can't
yells
not.
at it a lot.
I mean, you can't not have it, really. It's not much of a choice.
But yeah, when we were growing up, I think he and my mom both were in the camp that, you know, video games rot your brains. And so get outside and do something. And where we lived, there was a lot to do outside, if you recall.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just didn't have.
This will be a nice contrast though, because let me tell you, Meridian, it's just like 100% brain rot.
Well, I mean, that's how Will was too, and he's okay.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad of that. Oh, speaking of which, we have more to add here. Sorry, I finished writing the sound change, and so I decided to update the point of doing that was because I wanted it to be green. I decided to expand our IPA chart
Okay.
because it needs expansion. Oh wait, no, it's the
because now we need the H, right?
Yeah, so I added the H, added the column, and now I'm going to go on a hunt for
that special character.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Nice.
Because I saw it.
And also, while you're hunting,
Uh-huh.
Logan, you're absolutely right that I do not want my face clawed off by any animal. And so, yeah, I will stay away from even wild rabbits. I will not get too close to them.
You know, they just look so friendly, and they look like they want to be petted.
I also think they just look like they want to be left alone so they can eat grass.
Yeah, that is probably true.
And so I leave them alone.
So you see my issue, it's not in the IPA.
It's like in just in the character finder area?
I guess, like, where it's not in the IPA block.
They aren't always accurate about that, though, on our IPA, like on the symbol selector.
Right.
It's interesting to me.
Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to go to the great big list, and we're going to go to Latin Supplement Extended A. Doesn't look like it's there. Latin Extended B. Gotta tell you, it doesn't look like it's there either. IPA extensions? No, that's just what the regular IPA is called.
Are you sure you found it at some point?
Somebody put it on a comment on one of our videos. So, like, it's sitting there. You can go look at it.
Some people have said EXT IPA. Do you have one of those, extended IPA, or did you just say it's not on there?
Well, it's called IPA extended. Is there so here's Latin extended E. I guess I missed D. Let's see. Is there a further
I guess
IPA
I
extension?
should open mine up and see. Since I'm just like yelling at you. Okay, and what we're looking for is a retroflex L. With the devoicing, was it the line?
With the not the line, the little loop, the little lasso.
The loop-de-loop. The loop-de-loop. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh wait, sorry, I need D. Latin extended D.
Latin extended D.
D, yes. Do you have Unicode? Because it's UA78E.
That's all right. I have Latin extended D. I'll get there. Wait, how did I go from Latin extended C to Latin extended C E to E? Bah! You know what I mean?
I can't see that small on what you're actually typing. Oh, Ian says it may be on Wikipedia.
No, it's not.
And hi, Pablo.
It's not in Latin extended D. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it. It's not there. Unless...
The Welsh loop?
Yeah, but retroflex. That's
I'm just reading comments. No, but I am seeing like the cutest esh ever. That wasn't what you're looking for, though. I will get back on task.
So Hawu, I didn't find it in Latin extended D. I really did not. It wasn't there. I was looking at it. Hold on. A78E. Let's 78. There it is! Oh my god, there it is! There it is! There it is! There it is!
You should have gone with that the first time.
Oh, and I don't have it in the font. Oh.
Oh, indeed. Oh.
Oh gosh, that hurts. I may have to. Are you taking a picture of me and my disappointment?
No, I was just holding up my phone so that way I could see comments easier alongside. I need a phone stand right beside my head.
So I have my desktop, right? So I just stand it up. It's very handy. But of course, you're on your laptop right now.
And if I stand it up, then I'm covering up the screen that I so very much tried to make sure I could see.
Yeah. So what I think I'm gonna have to modify my special secret font that I made just for me, that has IPA characters that look good, because I just don't think that we should get rid of mah, unless it's just going to be mah. Could do that. Hold on.
Are you really thinking about killing a sound just because it's not in your font?
Yes.
We just need this on camera. This is what you're thinking.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay, I'm working on figuring out how to balance my phone in between a stack of books, a stack of note paper. I'm making this happen.
Okay, where's
and also, David, if I wanted a picture of you and your disappointment, I'd just do a screenshot so it's better quality. The
You're
pictures of a screen never work out as well as the screenshot.
Yeah, you were right. So... So, just so everybody's aware, this is the sound change I'm proposing.
I need to go look, because... Oh, wait, you're up above in the notes?
I am on page 5.
I think in the red section, yeah.
Above the red. So, basically...
Above the red, we are saying kill the voiceless retroflex L because of David's lack of... retroflex L in the font. But because we Romanize it, does it matter?
Oh,
we're going to Romanize it anyway throughout the entire document except this one place.
It's the document. Here's the thing. I'll have to produce a new version of the font. And then I have to give it to this computer, my laptop. I'm going to have to give it to you. And I'm going to have to upload it again so that I can put it on my iPhone. Just to...
But why don't you just do the voiceless L, the cool little loop-de-loop L in the IPA box where it is, and then just explain in a note below it to say that really represents the retroflex.
Oh, gosh. I mean, on the one hand, it doesn't...
Is that a hard pass?
You know, on the other hand, it doesn't make a lot of sense that that's the only weak fricative that gets to stay. So, like, we have kanah and kanah becoming kanah. But for some reason, kanah gets a pass.
Okay, well, if you make the argument from that point of view, then yes, I support it. If the argument is just that you don't want your font to be ruined or a symbol to have to be further explained,
yeah,
then I'm dubious.
I don't know. It taxes credulity. However, the way that something like that could happen is if the sound change happened later. In other words, at the time that kanach and kanaf became kanah, kanar became kanah. Like that was the change. Where does this is going to help us determine it. Hold on.
Bye, Megan. I'm glad you could make it for as long as you did.
Yeah, we did a whole ton while you were here. I'm so sorry.
Got a lot of personal life discussion.
We did.
Evan says it's different though because it's leniting. I never say that right when it's just the verb form. Lenition, I get. Is it leniting? Anyway, from an approximate.
That doesn't matter. Because, okay. I mean, obviously, we had the exact same thing happen with R. That was the thing. That was how kanah became kanah. So that's the thing. We already had it happen with our rhotic. The question is it going to save the lateral?
Anime fan is summoning bib.
We don't need that input right now.
Oh.
Have you ever seen The Wizard?
What input has is that separate from The Wizard of Oz, I'm guessing. So it's not The Wizard of Oz, just The Wizard.
Yeah, with Fred Savage.
Okay. I have not.
Oh gosh, he's here.
With Fred Savage?
Yeah, okay, never mind. I was going to make a joke that specifically referenced a joke in The Wizard, but you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay, so word final devoicing happens here. And then word final debuccalization happens afterwards. How can we justify retaining hra when we're getting rid of hra?
Oh, you're asking for...
I mean... It seems arbitrary that we are retaining hra, but losing hra. They're both liquids. They're both getting devoiced, but only one of them is becoming H at the end of a word? I don't see it.
I mean, why do S's get to stay?
Because they're strident.
Okay, but the L is lateral, and that's why it gets to stay.
But here's the thing. It's a liquid, right? Just like the R.
But it's a lateral liquid.
Bibleridian, I beg you. Could you justify this? So we are losing fa and cha at the end of a word. They're both becoming H. We're losing r at the end of a word. It's becoming her, which is becoming... what we're really losing is r. Mar is becoming ma. But we're keeping mar. That's the only one that doesn't just become an H?
And Evan, the voiceless rhotic is not technically a fricative. You'll see that it's actually in a different rule that it becomes voiceless. The word final debuccalization, though, I guess we should specify that fricatives and voiceless approximants.
I mean, He says he's got nothing. There's no way to justify this. This is what I'm talking about here. Like
No, wait. Does that mean that there's no way to justify it? Or, like, come on, David, it could go either way. Like, I got nothing.
I think that there's no way to justify keeping hra and getting rid of hra. And the thing is, if...
Because they sound so much alike that one had to go.
Well, if they don't both become H, I mean, our esteem, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to keep falling.
By the way, in case anyone's curious, I have no dog in the fight, so to speak. I don't care which way we go. I just like seeing David get all worked up in a lather.
Okay, so here's the thing. Well, actually, Logan does have a possible solution.
Oh, and Tangi wants me to keep fighting, so I will. So what's Logan's solution?
Logan's solution is to merge them. So,
oh, okay.
In other words, mar becomes mar.
Which makes sense, because I literally can't hear the difference between those two.
It's hard.
So I think that we should merge them and keep that lateral. And Jasmine agrees. Ian agrees. Willy Wobbs, please merge. Yoma, merge.
You all owe Logan. Excuse me, not Ogan. You owe Logan a great big debt. All of you schlubbers. I'm sorry, schlubbers. Schlubbers is what you should be called. Oh my goodness.
Side note, this will make the possum language that much more difficult for me to pronounce. And so this will be fun. We need to have, like, when we actually get words and, like, utterances, maybe one whole live stream is just going to be teaching Jesse how to pronounce.
I mean, you just do it. Just practice like this. You know, get on your big opossum voice and say, big and small.
But to me, possums wouldn't have a voice. So
short and tall.
Okay, but I do like the smuff. I can do that. Smuff.
But just... Well, look, this is what I love about the IPA. Forget about how it sounds. Forget about that. You know what the things stand for, right? Just put your tongue in that position and put your vocal folds in that position and do it.
I think I didn't I? Smuff.
Let me hear your retroflex. Do a retroflex la. Okay, now keep it there and go.
Oh God, I'm gonna spit all over. I did it. It was totally there. It's totally there. Dark Horse says Logan should get a free possum word.
Okay, it also results in a voiceless rhotic, hra, which, as a result of acoustic similarity, merges with
And see, consequently, we shall use, so that's fine. We're going to use that symbol, and we know what it means, and that's what the important thing is.
This is here, hold on, we have to add a little note here. This is a common sound change referred to as a Loganian merger. There we go.
I approve.
Most languages that have retroflex, rhotics, and laterals at the end of a word that devoice them end up merging them as hra. It's just something that happens a lot.
Oh, Tangi says that Jesse should mean fighter and Logan should mean savior. Oh, this is great.
Okay, that's settled. So we need to go back.
And so now I think that also helps Evan, because Evan was worried that why did fricatives include the R, and now it doesn't, so it's okay.
Fricatives included the voiceless R because it was supposed to, because that's what it is.
Well,
it's a weak fricative. I mean...
Or an approximant.
Really, a voiceless approximant. That's the thing. Like, if you look at pairs, basically the fricative "hya," for example, is just the voiceless version of "ya" in many cases.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Oh. What do I do? All right, so we're going to need to figure that out. Gosh, that's stupid. I'm going to need to produce a new version of the font. Okay. Anyway.
Or just use the symbol that you've already said in the phonological rules would represent the sound. Just use the L with the loop.
We have the symbol, though. We have the technology.
I feel like we both have our limits for how far we'll work on something, and I've reached mine on the symbol, and you're just like, no, I've got to do that on this. That's okay.
Isn't there like one language to distinguish voiceless approximants from voiceless fricatives? Not that I know off the top of my head. I mean...
I don't know, but I'm going to turn to Google and see if I can find that.
Roman, you little fiend, come here. Oops. Come here. Everybody wants to see you. It's going to be a double cat show. There. There's my boy. My sweet boy. My precious boy. Right? Don't you love this, Roman? Oh, my. Okay.
Ooh. Did it happen to be the language? Just a second. I got to find it. There it is. There's a language spelled I-A-A-I.
EI? Really? That's cool.
And it is spoken in New Caledonia. And it has a whole series of voiceless approximants. Oh, but I don't think that they are contrasted with voiceless fricatives. But it does have a lot of voiceless approximants. Ooh, but that was the one that Jasmine was thinking of.
Cool.
Or Jake. Jake said Michi, maybe?
Try another one. Okay, so we've finally settled on what's happening with things at the end of words. Right?
Oh, did we? Sorry. Yeah, I went on a
no,
possum chase.
It's fine. It's fine. But I think that we can turn those black now. Might as well go ahead and write everything just so that we have it definitively. Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Now. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm totally here.
Yeah, I gotcha.
am not just reading articles about
we can
voiceless fricatives and approximants. That's totally not what I'm doing right now.
So,
okay.
So the thing is, if we actually want to progress to the grammar stage, I just want to be sure that we've taken care of all of our, phonological ducks.
Yeah.
And so, we need to talk about internal clusters a little bit to make sure that we're all set with that. But also, these initial clusters, we need to talk about that again just a little bit. not gonna have a name for this language. Are you serious? Like, we haven't even come up to words yet. No. That'll come later. So this is what I want to talk about right here. So we were doing these, thinking about what happens to like the voicing of these. But what about in terms of words? Are we comfortable with words beginning with two fricatives? And then is it going to change by voice? Are we comfortable with them starting with two stops? And again, is it going to be different based on voice? I assume that both fricative stop and stop fricative is fine. So we could have a word zak and zak, and also span and zban. That's fine. Even chpan is great. Bran, great. Zran, great. Zran, great. Okay. Zvan, great. How about fsan? What do you think?
Say it again.
Fsan.
Which one is that?
It's a voiceless bilabial fricative followed by s. Fsan.
That one. Son. Son. I feel like you would end up just saying son. Son. Zvan. For some reason, the voice works for me, but going in the other way. Svan, I'm okay with. San, I feel like the coronal would take over that frequicative.
Okay. In that case, let's expand this list. So we have this. And then we have okay, right? Because here it doesn't matter if it's S or Z. It's always gonna come out the same no matter what. Okay, those are our two frequicatives. We already talked about geminate, so we don't have to worry about sa or za. We should probably talk about that and this, but that can be separate.
It looks like a lot of commenters are on board with metathesis for these situations.
Really? Why? Okay, we'll talk about those in a minute, but we're looking specifically at these. So we have weak fricative followed by strong fricative. And in fact, let's go ahead and do the other two as well, which is
that clicking noise is very satisfying.
Really? Oh, I'm glad, because if it were annoying, it would be awful, wouldn't it?
It sounds very much like that white noise that you fall asleep to. It's very soothing.
I fall asleep to music. Do you really do white noise?
I don't do anything. I just fall asleep. My fan is on though, so that's my white noise.
Are you one of those people that can just fall asleep? You're like, okay, time for bed, asleep.
Yeah, like literally, when I say I'm going to bed, within 10 minutes. Yeah. I mean, there are some nights, of course, insomnia takes over because my brain won't shut off. But for the most part, I'm usually out when I say I need to go to bed.
Yeah, I have some of those nights. They're called every night.
Oh, no, that's not every night for me. Like, I know something's wrong if I can't sleep.
Well, anyway, all right. So
now I know what to brag about whenever you're mean to me.
Oh, no, look, you have tons of other things that you can brag about. I mean, for starters, your hair.
But I can fall asleep.
I mean, look at that. Your hair with its natural wave. That's what I wanted.
Oh. Sorry.
Okay. So, we need to talk about what we think about. Oops. I did the wrong one. Hold on. We need to talk about what we think about these. Hasan, Hassan, Khshan, Khshan.
I don't like any of them.
I don't either.
So.
Yeah.
I think either the weak fricative needs to disappear, or we need to talk metathesis.
We already have epenthetic vowels, so that's another possible.
Or epenthetic vowels is what we need to talk.
Okay, hold on. Let's type out the possibilities here.
Oh, Alk asked about what about sun going to east sun with a geminate, like essentially creating a geminate structure, so that weak fricative assimilates, and then we get the epenthetic vowel.
Yeah. My goodness, another important call. How have I gotten 2 important calls? Like, there was an entire week before this, people. All right. I'll put that as a possibility too. Okay, or metathesis, or I think that's all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And okay. Now with this one, oops.
Oh, Applesauce Project says don't look at any electronic screens for an hour before going to bed. They stimulate the brain.
Yeah, it's not happening. Anyway, you do it too, I bet. I bet you're looking at a screen the moment before your brain shuts off and you go to sleep.
I usually check my phone before.
Yep. See?
Or I'm watching Frasier.
There goes that theory. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and move these so that they're next. Oh yeah, by the way, for these ones, ignore these ones for right now. We'll get to those afterwards. We're going to do these first. These guys first.
Do you mind if I enter them down a little bit and like create some space here so that way these are like, woo, stand out. Okay, thank you.
There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibilities is what we have here. The possibilities are nothing happens, but we already decided we're not very happy with that. But I'm going to keep that there just so we remember what it is. It's not a real option. So really it's just 4 options. Another option is we just use our epenthesis rule that we already have. Something starts with an impermissible cluster, you just throw an E in front. Or we have that, and then we have a rule that geminates these weak fricative plus strong fricative clusters. Note that if we do this, this is going to have wide-ranging consequences, meaning that, so like, trying to think of an example here. This word, if this were a protoform, would also come out to isan. So there would be no distinction between that and that, which could have consequences down the line if we have some sort of morphology that's just a bare prefix vowel. So let's bear that in mind. Another option is metathesis, because we decided previously that something like fun is fine. We have it basically in sphere. One of the worst words to say in English, by the way. I mean, I hate saying the word sphere, you?
Oh no, I like that word, but I also think it's one of the very, very few words where we have the SF combo.
At the beginning of a word.
Anything that we borrowed from Greek, it would have to be, because we otherwise don't have it, like sphere and sphinx. Like we just don't have a lot of SF words.
They're awful. Okay, and then the truly radical one, which is just san. So basically, this is the English root. It's like, what do you do with impronounceable clusters? Like, just pretend there's only one of those there. Gnostic. What else we got? Everything we borrowed from Greek. Ptolemy.
A whole lot, yeah. But we kept the sphere.
We did. And then, of course, that's the whole deal with X. Yeah, why did we keep sphere? Uh-oh.
Oh, Hawa is also mentioning sforzando. Oh yeah, SB is even rarer. Like svelte is one of the few words I can think of besides like Sven the name. Oh yeah, chthonic is a good word. Okay, anyway, sorry, let's go on. Otherwise I'm just gonna get sidetracked by all these wonderful words popping up in our chat. Okay, so are we ready to vote, David?
Yeah, I think so. Let me help us out here. Crap. Okay, wait. I got it. I'm doing it. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so we're basically A, B, C, or D here. And remember, A is only epenthesis. B is epenthesis plus gemination. Actually, it could go in either order, couldn't it? Could be that the gemination happened first and then it epenthesized.
Before people get too far, what about the fricative becoming a stop? So like,
Fortition.
San becomes psan with a P. It strengthens.
Goodness gracious.
Because that was thrown out in the comments section.
Well, I think we got to consider it now.
So
Stop
don't
voting.
vote yet.
Stop
don't
voting
vote yet, everyone.
Don't worry, I'm going to change the voting things. So
that way we won't get confused.
Yeah. This will render words, this will lead to mergers, of course. Okay, so just now it's going to be, we're voting 1, 2, 3, 4,
or 5.
Okay, there we go. So again, 1, just epenthesis. 2, epenthesis plus gemination. 3, metathesis. 4, complete simplification. And 5 is the fortition.
Okay, there's a whole lot of 5s popping up. I've seen 1 for 3, 1 for 1. All right, 2 for 3, 2 for 1, 1 for 4. And now we're leaning 3 back to 5. Definitely seems... Oh, Biblaridian says 1.
Really?
5 and 3 seem to be kind of together in terms of how people are voting.
Jeez, like Biblaridian's vote counts for like 20.
Well, it's going to need to because there's more 5s.
Yeah, I think the 5s are going to have it here.
Not to feel left out, 2 has some votes. I mean, realistically, I think all of them are going to cause mergers, if that makes people feel any better.
Yeah, every single one.
Scrolling through, my feeling is that I see more 5s. I haven't like literally counted them all up because the screen keeps moving every time a new person votes.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with keeping it in one place, but I'm seeing a lot more 5s than anything.
It would be nice if, you could actually do little on-the-fly poll things on YouTube, wouldn't it?
That would be nice. Is that a possibility? And then people are like, I'll say it again. I like 5.
Bye, Hawa.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I am going to search. Is it possible to put a poll to the live chat?
I think it's.
That really would.
I think it's got to be 5. 5 it is. a stunning rebuke to Bibleridian. I mean, to shreds, I would say.
And I'm sorry. Okay, so it's possible with some stream software, but not necessarily all. Okay, so yeah, we may not be able to with, but that's okay. Our unofficial polls, I think we're doing all right. It's just it would be nice to actually see. And Bibleridian has left curses with a promise of getting us next time. I like it.
Okay, let's do that. Just.
Oh goodness, Jasmine! No electoral college for polls. No. We need to get rid of it altogether.
Actually, Bibleridian, have you thought about growing one of those little handlebar mustaches?
Oh, yes. I don't really even know what Bibleridian looks like. I just every time you say the name, I think of the bee icon.
He looks like the bad guy in DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon Rescue Riders. So just look that up. That's exactly what he looks like, mustache and all.
Love it.
Okay, so we need to write this up. We already have this voicing rule in place, right?
Yeah, because the voicing rule is how we got the GB, DZ from the other ones above.
Okay, so then.
But let me double check that we actually wrote it out, because I know we talked about it. We put all the examples. I'm going to double check down in our notes that we actually wrote out a rule.
We did. Well, I'm going down there anyway.
Yes, we did. It's number 8.
All right. Let's see what we do with this fortition. Frontalization. Where's the partition? We forget a partition. Before. Consonant. Less strident. We decided that's a feature, right?
Well, I mean, you have mentioned it already once in this very live stream, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
By the way, I think you should celebrate this major decision. I can't join in with you, but I feel that there needs to be a celebration of Kopiko.
I think you're right.
And for anyone wondering why I can't join in, it's because I'm in my school office and I did not travel with Kopiko. And so they're sitting at home. I'm sitting on campus, and David's going to eat one for me.
You're never alone with Kopiko.
Love it.
Ooh, you know what I love? Delicious, delicious Kopiko. That's what I love.
I would too if I had it. I still love it from afar. Go ahead, brag a little more.
Yep, and a satisfying little Kopiko button that you get to enjoy for a little bit before it goes away. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So
I
good.
feel like you're overdoing it today to like make, let me really know what I'm missing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Okay, so then... Okay, good. Yeah, we're fine. Oh. On the other hand, we're not fine. Because this doesn't just happen a week, frick it is. Uh-oh. I missed something. Something important.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this becomes that. Becomes that. And so then this needs to be a separate rule. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
I think if fricatives is weak fricatives, then fricative for strong fricative needs to be like fecundative or something.
I don't think frustrative.
That's too restrictive.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Fricative fortition. Weak fricative fortition.
I gotta say though, what you're not missing out on with having straight hair is I keep getting this one bump of hair that is like sticking straight out to the side and I can't make it stay.
That is a feature, not a bug. It looks great.
I keep like trying to pat it down and it just like 5 minutes later it's like no.
Yeah, it's definitely okay. Oh, I had this question and we had a good answer for it, and never mind. I got it. Minus coronal. Ah, okay, so and then it becomes a thing, and it does it after, before, C, let's continue it.
Jasmine gets my poppy outy hair thing.
You know what this really is? I know it's a fortition, but what it really is a dissimilation. That makes more sense.
Yeah. That actually does make sense the way it's...
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good.
Wait, the beginning part has to change though, right? Because this is happening in front of a fricative,
yes.
Right?
Please, you change that while I explain this. So,
Okay.
Josh is asking about, giraffe language. So here's the thing. Obviously, we're starting with smaller animals because that makes a lot more sense in that they would all become roughly the same size. But let me tell you, one of the things that I found so amazing, if you imagine the combination of a horse and a person, it makes sense that they would come up with centaurs. But one of the things I thought was one of the most striking things I have ever seen was in the much maligned sequel to The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. In this game, the first big enemy you fight is a horse, but it is a horse that has the actual body of a human being. And so it's very tall, but it only has 2 legs and 2 arms, and it is standing up straight with a horse's head, and he swings a great big mace. And I just think that is so cool. I think it's amazing. Obviously, you can do that type of a thing with a horse, with a giraffe, with a zebra, with a bison, with a moose, any of the other ungulates, I guess you kind of see it in Zootopia with, who's your favorite singer in Zootopia?
That little goat. That goat.
Not quite a goat. What is she?
It's a singer goat?
That's right. Well, she's not quite a goat, though you could do a goat too. She is a gazelle.
Gazelle?
That's right.
But did you know, bison is actually in that Avatar bison?
That's right. They have air bisons, don't they?
Yeah.
How many legs do air bisons have?
Maybe 6 or 10.
One of those 2, yeah. And turns out it's 6. They have 6 legs. And then one big licky tongue, because he always likes to lick things, doesn't he?
Yeah, and you know who doesn't like it the most?
Who doesn't?
Sokka.
That's right. Sokka doesn't like being licked by Appa's big tongue, does he? All right.
Okay, so I've given you 2 options for wording because I was trying to channel phonological rule writing David. And so they become stops in front of coronal fricatives, or do you prefer alveolar and retroflex fricatives?
Coronal.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, I'll take care of that. Simpler is
Oh,
better.
you got it? Okay.
I got it.
I was like, I got 2 different options for you.
Oh yeah, bats. Anyway, so yeah, back to Josh's question. It is something I really, really want to do, but what I was afraid of is like, I mean, since these things are literally fighting each other, I mean, honestly, how is something that little gonna fight something that big? I mean, would they shrink a little bit? But it's such a neat idea, though. I just love that horse beastie, the boss.
I also love Appa, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Jasmine loves Appa. I just wanted to say I also do.
So Erin, my wife, she made a costume for my sister, and she went to the Avatar fan panel once at Comic-Con, and she won 3rd place for best costume, and got a big plush Appa.
That is amazing. And for 2 reasons, really, because not only was it like awesome that she placed and won a giant plush Appa, but also this is just like, in case you didn't know, all you people joining us live here and watching us later, Erin is amazing with like design and sewing and creating, and like she just blows my mind with what she can do. So that's awesome.
We also have a Momo, the little stuffed animal.
Oh, yay!
Biblaridian is asking a truly central foundational question to my entire enterprise, which is how anthropomorphic, thank you, are these animals
For once, I could say something you couldn't.
Yeah, gosh. But so yeah, how much are they becoming human-like? I have no idea. We're answering that question as we go along. See? But
so we will find out.
But yeah, there was you remember that cartoon? Not the cartoon, the comic strip. That was it wasn't the Far Side. It wasn't Over the Hedge. It had humans in it, and it was funny. It did sometimes have wry political commentary, but it had this whole section that it called, or this running thing that it called anthropomorphic theater. Where it would have animal characters instead of human beings. And then it seemed like the cartoonist, like he just really liked that, and so he just kept doing it and wasn't doing the other ones. I don't remember the name of this comic at this point, and it's not going to come to me. But whenever I saw that anthropomorphic theater, I just looked at the first few letters, and I was like, okay. My brain didn't even try to sound it out anymore. It's just like, we know that word.
Mike is asking, is it pearls before swine?
No. It was before Pearls Before Swine. And it was more... I mean, it was definitely stylized, but it was more realistic than that.
I can't help you.
Yeah. Yeah, Bucky O'Hare is a good analog, but more Redwall. Yeah. Okay. So, back to the grindstone.
Yes. Because when we finish, by the way, with this rule, there is another. When we finish with this family of rules, when we decide what's going to happen here, we do have another major thing we need to talk about, and that was that question that we didn't answer above mismatched voicing. And that's what happens with potential suffixes, or what happens as we add things to the ends of words and where stress is assigned. And that is actually something we need to think about.
Yeah, I know. Biblaridian, so I realized in order for that to work, they would have to shrink. And that was the question, how much did I want that to be acceptable? the animals shrinking. Because it's like, it's one thing for animals to get bigger, but like shrinking, I don't know. It's a little weird. But okay, so I want to be sure that we have all of our consonantal ducks in a row. In a line or in a row?
I would say in a row.
Okay.
But what if the giraffe is the narrator, so tall, watching from above, that they don't even realize that the trees they think they're seeing are actually the legs of the giraffe, and the giraffe is just a friendly being watching everything play out on the forest floor?
Okay.
Did that work? You're like, moving on. Moving on.
We need to discuss what's going to happen with these fricative clusters. We know what's happening with voicing, but we need to do the thing. This thing.
I mean, just right away, my obvious thought is that that one pair of them is just going to become a geminate retroflex, and the other pair is going to be just geminate non-retroflex. Which way it should go, though, I'm not sure.
Yeah, usually.
Whether it should be like the top row being retroflex and the next row being non-retroflex. I don't know.
I usually do that when these guys come next to one another. So, okay, let's think. The word starts out as shazan, shan, shan. Okay. Other way around. Zajan, zhan. Whoa.
Exactly.
Jan. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My video has stopped. Can everybody see us?
I can.
Are you sure?
I think so. I'll find out in a moment.
Uh-oh.
Elk says yes, so I'm thinking that yes, I can still see us.
While
And so
you-
does Logan. Yeah.
While you can still hear me, I'm concerned that my internet may have had a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to turn
Although
off.
I can definitely, like, not even our window where we're talking cut out, so like nothing happened on my end.
I'm having that black screen problem, but it always starts at the beginning. Never at the end. Okay.
Artak, I feel that. Thinking I can unmute myself because we're on a Zoom call, right?
Okay. I'm still...
So yeah, everyone can see and hear us.
Okay, good. Like...
Do you just want them to both geminate at retroflexes? Because as you were pronouncing them, they sure did both take on the retroflex.
I know, but...
How does that make you feel, David?
Uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't want to give the retroflex consonants that much power.
Okay.
Sashan. But it... Shashan. It just feels like they're more powerful.
If we had to do one or the other, I feel like retroflex would spread forward like the voicing does.
Yeah.
But it really does seem like it just, yeah. W. Watson says, I feel we go second one. Tanguy says they should geminate and I'll be retroflex.
They're going to have to take an epenthetic vowel no matter what. That's going to happen no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Ishan.
Oh, did you mean Wiley's non sequitur? Is that the cartoon you were thinking of?
That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you.
Thank you, Logan.
Iran. Yeah, it's got. I hate it so much, but yes, I think it's got to be a geminate retroflex for all of them. Ah. I mean, doesn't it hurt you too?
It doesn't, no.
Hurts me.
Well, then it hurts me. But I'm torn because I feel that I have a connection now with Tanguy, and Tanguy approves.
Mm. Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. And I mean, how often are we going to have that anyway? So, you know. Gosh, now I hear the crunching of the Kopiko and wish I were crunching too.
Sounds like a haiku poem.
I think I have some peppermints up here.
The crunching of the Kopiko. Now it's 8 syllables.
Too long.
Now.
Just take out the. Just say crunching of the. See, take out the at the beginning and you get 7.
No, let's take it out at the end. The crunching of Kopiko.
Oh, yeah, that is nicer. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Josh, I will check out the picture of an albino giraffe. That sounds amazing. Okay. I now know what I need to do as soon as this ends.
Okay. So I think that's set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's done. And yes, I know that we absolutely have to get to that the stress issue, but we do need to deal with this first.
Yeah.
Are we good with all this? Kapak, kabak, zak, zak, span, zban, chpan, bran, zran, zvan. We're good with all of those?
I'm good.
Okay, good.
And we already have a rule that covers those exact changes, so that's good.
Okay, now here's one we haven't dealt with.
I also, by the way, feel like our work together in this live stream is way more orderly than anything I would do on my own, because I wouldn't realize there was a problem until I started making words, and then later would have to go back and change my approach. I don't think I've ever spent this long on this part of a language before. I just like move ahead and say, we'll see what happens, and then I just have to go back and change the last.
I mean, but of course it also doesn't mean that there won't be errors later.
Oh, I know, but that's interesting to me that we we spend this much time on it.
I'm actually embarrassed by what I just typed out, as if we haven't written the word kanan a million times.
Like, I think we're okay with that, David.
Yeah, it was the other one. And I feel like we've discussed it already somewhere. But where we had, yes, okay, here we go. Nasal thing, that's where okay, I got it. Okay, is there anything that we haven't done? Oh, of course there is. La and ra.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I'm guessing that this is going to be fine, right? You know,
Ooh, bye, Yago Dog.
hi. So, you know, something like slan is going to be fine, or slan. Actually, oh,
Oh, and yeah, Logan, when I conlang alone, it's never this thorough or organized.
That's okay, because you're never going to conlang alone again.
Aww.
So as a shorthand, I have been writing the L's as regular L's as opposed to retroflex. Mm-hmm. However, I think it's actually going to make a difference here, because it's really saran, which is going to become shlan. I think it has to.
It has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and which means that this is going to be a merger. And we're going to probably accept the voice version as well, I'm guessing. Zran, perfectly fine. Funny. Let's try the R's. I got it on the first try. Oh.
Yay. I would not have, so I am very, very impressed. And Josh, normally, oh my gosh, now all of a sudden I'm having a brain fart and I'm like, I need to make sure I answer this correctly. But normally a priori, and let me double check and make sure I'm thinking a priori is what I think it is. I kind of hate those terms because I always get them backwards.
Yeah.
And I wish that we would just call it what it is.
Made it all up, right?
Yeah, and that's a priori means you just start from nothing, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then a posteriori is you start from like another language and work from there.
Yep.
Whew. Okay, so normally a priori. However, I have done a couple a posteriori just for fun to see how it works.
Have you?
I have. Yeah, gnoma and merorem.
Oh, I didn't know that gnoma was a posteriori.
Yeah, because I was really fascinated by Gothic, and apparently a lot of people are, because tons of conlangers do that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like I'm looking at what would happen if Gothic had survived, and then I found out that there's a lot of us who did that, and it's so fascinating to me to see all the differences. But yeah, so that one was based primarily in Gothic, and like it had a lot of influence from Turkish for reasons that it had reasons.
Anyway, so
go with it.
Yeah. I'm assuming R is probably going to do the same thing, and it's probably going to be okay. So Saran is going to become Shran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that gives us... yes.
Are these supposed to be Z's by any chance?
Oh, I assumed that we would allow for both. So you would have both Shlan and Zlan.
Oh, I see. These are the okay. Yeah, no, I'm good now. I see what's going on. For some reason, I thought these two were exactly the same.
They
and
are.
I was like...
okay, yeah.
I was confused for a minute. It's okay. It was just a moment.
Yeah. Trigetisling is definitely a posteriori. Okay, so... yeah, I know that we were having progressive voicing assimilation, but I figured that with the L and R, it wouldn't actually devoice that. The only place that was going to get devoiced was word finally. So that we're not ending up with shhan. However, now we need to ask this question. Oh, right, and then we have another one. I see. I should have done. It's okay. I'm gonna make up for it right now. Let's just do that.
My brain needs so much more spacing in between sets.
I'm gonna do it.
Bless you. That was full dab. I appreciate.
Yeah, got it that time. Okay. There we go. There we go. Better?
At least I know what we're looking at. Beautiful. Thank you. We'll just start putting page breaks everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so we have chlan, and then what? Or chran, chlan, fran. It's a little awkward.
Yeah. What if the devoicing just carries over and they just both become devoiced, like an unvoiced retroflex? So that way that like the voicelessness is retained, but it's just So you that or the epenthetic, like ich lang.
Well,
Because I'm not sure.
Tongi, they don't have to. They don't have to. Remember, we're not, because otherwise they would have done it up here. But we didn't have them do that. We didn't go that far. But I remember, if you remember way back, we had talked about getting hla into the language via this cluster. Wow, that's a possibility.
Yeah, Veronica, did you see that, is asking if the retroflex would become a W or something?
Juan. Does seem like a possibility. Juan. Huh. Okay. Let's start it up.
I feel like we're gonna have multiple options here.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of stuff here. This could be this
epic,
or oh my goodness, there's just run.
Just all of them. Copy and paste.
Okay, I mean that is a weird possibility, but it doesn't. Okay. Stick with me. All right, let me just write them all out. Darn it, I'm gonna do this.
I'm sticking with you.
Okay, here we go. Except, not that one. This one. Juan.
Ah,
yeah.
Nice.
Juan. Yeah. And let's give this let's give that its proper due. Now you mentioned it's just it feels like this is going to make or break the entire language. You know what I mean?
Right here.
This
is
one.
It?
Yeah. And you had mentioned epenthetic, initial epenthetic vowel. How do you feel about that still?
Oh, I'm still good with that. Like Ihram. I'm okay with that. Because, I mean, we have it there, and we've done it with others.
With no other change? Ihran? Or with devoicing?
Well, I mean, like, that was technically what we did with the nasals, right? Except the nasals then assimilated. Or had, like, a little something else. But, yeah, I mean, like, I would be okay with that.
Actually, that is another possibility, and that could lead to some interesting parallelism.
Would that happen with the velar one as well, or would that only be the bilabial?
Oh, jeez.
I feel like something very painful is happening in your head right now.
Juan? No, we're going to keep that.
Okay.
Or this is so tough. I see one possibility as this. Hang on.
Okay.
And then
Oh.
so that's one possibility.
Okay.
The epenthesis is always a possibility. There's also epenthesis plus devoicing that could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we should continue to list this as a possibility.
Out of curiosity, why would you have it flip-flop which one is omitted? Like, why wouldn't these be the omitted pair and then here the X stays in both?
It's how I'm pronouncing it. It's how I'm
Okay.
pronouncing it, but realistically, it's where the point of articulation of that fricative is closest to the initial formation of the next sound. So
Mm-hmm.
is very close together, Juan, so they kind of just merge. And then for Juan, I mean, it's just right there.
Right.
Right. And I know that somebody asked about the H one, Juan, but I just feel like the point of contact for H is so it's different, you know? Like the labialization is just right there for the bilabial voiceless fricative, for this thing that's already voiceless and bilabial. It's basically the same thing. But wa and hua are not necessarily the same thing. They're near the same spot, but they're not at the same spot.
Right.
So I think that this is honestly much more likely. But do you like, when it comes to epenthesis, do you like ichlan or ichlan? In other words, like lean into the voicelessness or lean away? Ichran or ichran?
Lean into voiceless.
Yeah, okay. Let's throw that up as a possibility. And just know that this R is voiceless. I'm not going to put a little circle above it. Just know it's voiceless. Ichlan. Yeah. Ichlan.
Yeah.
Ichlan. What do you think? Do you think those are our strongest contenders?
Yeah, I would say they are. And I actually have a favorite in this one, so I'm very curious to see what happens.
Ooh, well, if you have a favorite, maybe we should take it to a patron poll just to see what would happen.
But I hope that I haven't given away my favorite.
Yeah.
So I hope nobody actually knows what it is, so it won't be cursed.
Yeah, gosh, it's
Either that or I have to find a new Wema to incorporate into Ingala.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this should be a patron poll.
I mean, well, you also, though, did say that this feels like it's going to make or break the language. And if you feel it's that important, then it should be a pretty big poll.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Dark Horse, there you go. My vote is for Jesse's pick. That's how you get on Jesse's good side.
And then blessings will come your way forevermore.
Okay. So then let's actually talk about the next important thing, which is when the order is reversed for like anything. Because that's going to lead to some questions, and we might actually end up with a situation like this. So let's go ahead and do it down here. But
Okay. So we're just reversing the approximants and those fricatives for now.
yeah, kind of leave that up.
Can we just take a moment
Yeah.
to like look at how pretty the retroflex L looks when it's side by side with like another letter? That looks so pretty. It's like it's hugging it.
It is. Much better than when it's next to a comma.
Yeah, the
Which is
comma kind of
Oh,
just morphs with it, but like when there's a letter there, look at how nice that is.
yeah.
Same with the R, of course. That's lovely.
Okay, so the question is, what's going to happen with these sequences?
Dark Horse says option number 4 on poll 4 should be whatever Jesse wants.
No, it's a pouch. It's a marsupial consonant. That's cute.
By the way, I forgot to label a pouch on the possum diagram, but that feels like something major that we need to like add to the possum diagram. Mm-hmm.
That is kind
For
of
a body part.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Which one is my... Okay, got it.
There's one going straight down the middle. I don't know. What's that?
I don't know. Now I'm going to have to try to fix them since evidently you don't like them. Okay. So, this situation, actually not this situation, it was schwa followed by one of these consonants, is what led to the so-called liquid vowels of Sanskrit. So, I believe that the way you're supposed to pronounce it is Sanskrit, where the vowel is just kind of like we have in English. And then they also have an L one, an ul, as a vowel. So we're almost kind of in this little situation, but Rasan, 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 Rakan, 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 Rasan, Rakan, Rakan, Fun.
I'm torn. If we had done metathesis on the examples up above, then metathesis would be my vote. But we didn't do metathesis up above, so now I don't know what to think.
Eater son. Well.
However, I do like that because you copied over the data set. It's like, it just turns into a nasal. Don't worry about it. Don't ask those questions.
We'll try to... I mean, because this is certainly one possibility, so...
Mm-hmm. Well, people are a big fan of the Sanskrit liquid vowels.
Your son. I mean, I'm a fan of the vowels in Sanskrit. I don't know if I'm a fan of it in this language. Your son. Your khan. Your khan. Your fun. That's fine by me. Your son. Your khan. Your khan. Your fun.
I'm happy with the epenthetic.
let's do a nasal, just to problematize these things a little bit. Irnan and Irnan.
See, I feel like it's not problematized though if we do the epenthetic vowel, because that kind of takes care of the problem, right?
Now, what will be interesting is if we add a consonant in front of this as like a prefix. There I would probably accept just the vowel. So, turnan and turnan.
That's actually your Yoma had said that I feel the syllabic liquids are more natural sounding when they're not word initial. So that could be an option.
Yeah. Yes, the nasal would be retroflex too. Basically everywhere you see one of these nasals is probably retroflex. Oh. No, it's not. Because when it comes before an S, then it becomes alveolar, which is why you have insan, not inchan. Okay. Doesn't Irish have word initial syllabic liquids, like in a word that is spelled O-R-M? That would certainly fit with what I know of Irish's bizarre orthography, but can you give us the IPA on that, Logan? I'm kind of interested.
In my head, I've already voted for epenthetic vowel, and then it becomes syllabic when another consonant comes before it.
Yeah, I think so.
And so that's my vote.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think that is what we need to do. Let's do that. Okay, so then we have a sound change that we can write in there. Basically we're adding to our epenthesis rule.
Mm-hmm. The laptop is very warm from the live streaming for 2 hours.
Okay. Do we not have an epenthesis?
Do we have an epenthetic?
Did we not ever write it?
I thought we did. But no, we have the fricative fortition. And I guess because we were voting on what would happen to that, we had never actually written the insertion.
Huh. Okay.
So we need to do that.
Okay.
I like how I state the obvious, David. We need to do that.
Yes, we do.
And
I'm gonna put it as number 11, just for funsies.
Okay.
You might think that one would do it earlier, but I'm gonna do it here. And what's the special Greek word for epenthesis when it's a vowel at the beginning of a word? Is it ends in copy?
Oh.
It's either syncope or apocope, right?
I think it's apocope. But I could be totally wrong. No, actually, syncope is when you take out the middles of words.
Oh, okay. So it's, I don't know. We'll find the official word and put it in.
And apocope is the loss of sounds at the ends of words. Oh, so we're both wrong. See, this is why I don't like fancy terms.
Yeah.
Then I forget how to use them. Okay. But if we put this as rule number 11, then the voicing from the retroflex L would carry over to the fricative behind it or whatever's behind it. Right? Because that comes in rule number 8.
Because a non-nasal consonant. Huh. Okay, let me write up the prothesis rule just so we have it written up, and then we'll go back and revisit that and see if we like this. Okay, so then, how do we write this?
Vowel gets inserted.
Okay, the vowel.
Originally, it was nasal plus fricative.
Geminates.
Or stop.
Clusters that begin before geminates or?
Before geminates, before a consonant cluster beginning with a nasal. So nasal followed by anything.
Or a liquid.
Yeah, or a liquid followed by anything.
Before geminates and before clusters that begin with either a nasal or a liquid. I mean, that's the best way to state it in words. Now, how do you capture it? Well, of course, first thing is that I, or nothing goes to I. That's what you do. Nothing goes to I. Right. Oh. Ah!
We have a rule for gemination, right?
Don't we? Do we?
No.
Oh my goodness, we don't have our gemination rule written.
I thought we had one. Interesting.
Let's see. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna do this. Grab one, N, R, or C, and we're gonna do our subscript X. There we go. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
Would those be, besides the geminants, the N and the R, you could say are sonorant, right?
Yeah.
That's how you could put the liquids and nasals together, and it would not capture the fricatives and it would not capture the stops. So we want sonorant consonants, and then the geminant is a separate issue. That's like...
You're right. Thank you. That was the feature I was looking for. Plus sonorant.
Okay, I'm done for the day.
Nice.
I'm going to go take a nap.
And then also... there.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Technically, the voicing assimilation would capture most of the geminant because SZ becomes SS. And so that produces a geminant. So, like, I think the only one now we need to think about is how to get the geminants because the retroflex is spreading as well. Did we...
That might be something
that would be the only one.
That might be something that we need to talk about separately because we have retroflex spreading elsewhere, don't we? But not with irsan, right? Irsan, we're keeping it. It's not irshan. We're keeping irsan. Okay. Where was it spreading?
Only when it was like S, retroflex S, or retroflex Z followed by a Z. So it was only when it was the pairing of
regressive spreading. So
it's both. It's both. It spreads regardless. Like it's
okay.
I don't care what comes first. It goes.
But not a sonorant. So coronal minus sonorant. Wait. It doesn't spread from a sonorant. Is that right?
It only
No, it does.
The retroflex spreading only happens with strident fricatives. If we're going to use strident, this is it.
But do we want to say that that's true? But because think about, no, because, no, you're right. Because we don't have any coronal non-retroflex sounds except for N before S.
Right.
Okay. Or Z. Okay.
I mean, technically we have a T and a D, which kind of is retroflex, but...
No. But those are retroflex.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So we don't have to worry about that. I guess, so... the only question was, why is it staying irsan and not becoming irshan?
Mm-hmm.
And irsan as opposed to irshan.
Well, that would be because that at that point it's in a separate syllable. It's not a consonant cluster.
Then we're going to have to make it that way. But it's not possible.
What's not possible?
Well, okay, it's in a separate consonant. I mean, that's or it's in a separate syllable. That's true, but it's also in a separate syllable in shazan as well.
Right. Not once we lose that vowel, though. It's not.
That's right. And so once we lose that vowel, ursan is also in the same syllable, right?
You're right, David.
Okay.
I finally see what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay. So now I just need to think about that a minute.
That or the fact that I said fohate.
All of the above.
Do you even recognize that word?
Do not.
You created it.
Have we talked about how my memory these days is overloaded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
So-
I should.
So basically, what we're saying is that the S's and Z's that are non-retroflex, they become retroflex whenever they are next to something else that is retroflex, unless it is an L or an R that comes before it. Are we happy with that?
Honestly, because okay, hear me out.
Okay.
Would you say the retroflex R is a coronal consonant?
Yes.
Okay, so it is coronal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be because it's made with the tip of the tongue. Let's avoid the fact that I just asked you that.
All good.
Does it have to do, because for me it has to do more with the fact that producing a plain S and a retroflex S in one go is somehow more unwieldy to me than having to do a different manner of production with retroflex going to non-retroflex. However, I could definitely foresee the retroflex spreading if that's the route we're going.
Well, okay. Certainly when they come next to each other, but what about with sran, which we're saying becomes shran and shlan?
Oh, for some reason I thought we said we were okay. Oh no, we weren't okay with that.
We weren't.
We were not okay with that. You put too much space in between these, David. I forgot that was up there.
Okay.
Okay, well in that case I guess it needs to spread. But is it only spreading to the S and the Z? Is it spreading to the... it can't spread to K.
There's only one way that we can get it. And it's if the spreading happens after the epenthesis. That's the only way. Because then we can say it spreads in the same syllable. But then it wouldn't get the geminates.
It would not create the geminates, because then you would get ish son.
Yes, it would. We'd have to create a separate rule that says, come on, they're too similar. Of course it's going to spread here. Ugh.
And there's not a fancy way of saying that, David?
I mean, there is. It's just...
We're doing it because it makes sense, okay?
No. So as it stands now, let's be sure we know what's at stake here. These can be separate words. As it stands now, we can have irsan and irshan be separate words.
Wouldn't that have to be, wouldn't voicing spread?
Gorsan.
Wouldn't that be
Back
Z?
burner, back burner, back burner.
Okay.
If it does, by the way, we're gonna have a 4-way merger. Whew.
But like it almost has to, because that was one of the very first things we said was voicing spreads.
But it doesn't when it's a sonorant, and we know
Okay.
and we know that it doesn't because we just had a pull that said it doesn't. That's why we.
Okay.
That's why we have incan. Remember, we had the fortition, but not fortition plus voicing.
Okay,
Okay, so we're fine.
we're fine.
Okay, so sonorants do not spread voicing. Sonorants do not spread voicing, but they can be devoiced by other things. That's fine. Now the question is, so there will always be a difference between irzan and irsan, as well as irshan and irjan. Now the question is, are we going to allow for a difference between irsan and irshan, and then also irzan and irjan?
Honestly, based on the other rules, I'm going to say no, in that the retroflex needs to spread. Because otherwise we're going to have to write about 3 different rules to make this happen, which is inefficient for language change.
Yeah.
And so I think to be consistent with the retroflex spreading rule, it just would make more sense if it went all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I hope everybody's on board with this because it's happening. Like,
Mike just said spread the retroflex. There we go. We've got it.
Yep.
And Applesauce Project is on board as long as it sounds hissy possum-y.
That was the Catalinich we needed.
And Crunstery.
Okay.
And I think that once we finish this rule, we're done because it's after 6.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing for a poll.
Yes.
And we'll worry about stress next time. Because why stress today when you don't need to?
And I think you mean spreadtroflex. Or does the P block the spreading?
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So let's write this rule and then figure out how is it supposed to be a word. So yeah, now we're not going to say voicing assimilation. Something minus nasal becomes alpha voice because of consonant next to consonant alpha voice minus sonorant. There.
Yeah.
That fixes that. And then prothesis, that is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Go ahead and write out sonorant. And then we need to write retroflex spreading. It's going to happen after the vowel loss.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably going to happen right here with all the other assimilations.
With all the assimilations, yeah.
Okay.
Why is this one all on the left and these are all indented?
I don't know.
I'm going to check some text formatting while you work on that.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a mess. Thank you for noticing that. Goodness.
I can't believe you let this happen.
I can't either.
Yeah, so 0.75 is what we needed.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Consonant goes to plus retroflex.
Mm-hmm.
And then comma.
Oh, I think Mike answered your question, Josh. But yeah, it just means that there's a feature from one sound that passes on to another sound that occurs in its environment. But yeah, you're interesting. That is a very interesting point, that the way that English uses the word spread there, it's really another way of saying assimilation, where a feature is moving out.
Okay.
I just need a moment to appreciate the fact that you started this with truly.
Okay. That's the next to anything retroflex. Though note, the nasal is weaker, and so will actually surface as an alveolar nasal next to proto S and C, and I'm gonna go ahead and make this one a real retroflex.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
Because in our IPA chart, the T and D are listed as retroflex.
Yes.
Now, we had said that really it kind of covers everything, but that does mean, though, right, like that the T and D are going to affect the pronunciation of S and Z when they occur in a cluster.
That's a really good question. We glossed over that because we weren't really... So, krasak, krak. Kind of feels like they have to, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Let's go back up to the examples where those happen, because we're going to need to write that. Not there, not there. It's our poll. Here.
I was going to say it's somewhere in that long list.
Yeah, because we just wrote them as D's when really they should have been written as retroflexes.
Right.
And so we will fix that up. There we go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm going to come through and get all the S's, but then you've already done it all.
Yeah. It's all right.
So I'm just going to watch you work.
It also means that stock is going to become stock, and I think that's fine.
Yeah,
Stock,
that's actually better for me.
yeah. Very, very Germanic.
Okay. So, do we want to talk about the ordering?
Of what?
Of where, are we going to save that for next time, of where this epithesis or prothesis, as we're calling it, needs to occur?
Oh no, I think where it is fine. I think we've got it. I don't think that where it's placed at present is an issue.
Okay.
Because weak fricative dissimilation.
Because we also changed the minus sonorant on the voicing assimilation, which takes care of what I had raised as a problem before. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think it's a wrap then, really.
All right, really fantastic. Okay, so let's kind of think out loud, just a very tiny small amount. After we do this poll, we are going to have to return to the stress issue. And by the way, I think what the end result of it is going to be is that there's only going to be one stress per word. Anyway, and then we may need to look at the vowels again just to make sure that we're happy with the way the vowels come. But otherwise, I think we're going to be ready to move on to words. And while I think we should start with creating some, maybe just a couple of nouns, I really think we have to jump into the verbs, because I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the phonological interactions that we are trying to set up here. I think that's where we're going to end up seeing 3 and 4 consonants in a row, and we're going to see what problems that causes.
Okay.
But otherwise, I think that's it. Yeah?
I feel the same, because I think and I feel like we had discussed stress momentarily and had said that it was very likely we would only have one stress syllable per word to make it so we wouldn't just end up with a CV language.
Yeah.
We wanted to lean into those clusters, and I think that honestly that could probably be a pretty short conversation just to make sure that's it. And then I think we almost have to at that point create some words to figure out how all of that will play together.
Yeah, it's just it's getting too big to predict. So hopefully at that point we can revisit working with a sound change applier, so that we don't have to remember all of this stuff and we can just run it through. One of our patrons had created a new sound change applier, which worked very well for the state of the language at that point, and I didn't want to revisit it until I felt like we were more settled with our sound changes, and I think after next week we will be. So then we can really, shake it up.
Yes, I agree. So I think we're on the same page. Hopefully everybody else is as well. And stay grammar.
Yes.
Or sorry, should I say stay grammar?
There you go, stay. Stay a while and listen. Okay. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I have to stop it.
Yeah, that's all.
Or you want to just have it run until next week? Just see what happens.
See what happens. I mean, I'm going to close my computer lid at some point, at which point I don't know what you're ever going to see besides you and like Aaron and Meridian walking in the background, but
You'll see Roman from time to time, that little beast, because he walks on my desk even though he's not supposed to.
Ooh, so you're going to catch him in action.
Catch him in the act. All right, and that's what we're all about. Catching Roman in the act. See you next week.